This film begins with a man named Junkie. In the past, he used to be a really famous race car driver who always won. People liked him a lot, and he had a lot of money. But then something bad happened. Junkie broke the rules of racing, and because of that, he lost everything and became poor. 5 years later, Junkie only lives with his son, who isn't actually his own child. One day, they both get invited to a meeting at the car association's office. At this meeting, Junkie wants to say sorry for all the mistakes he made. He also wants to try to become a respected racer again. When Junkie went to the office, there were lots of reporters there to write about him. This made him feel uncomfortable because they always talked about his past. He asked the car association to give him his racing license back. So he started telling his story to convince the judges. He said he used to race in illegal races, but he was really good at it, even though he just used a regular car. But then, the police caught him near the end of one race. He got banned from official races for 5 years. He promised to be better if they let him race again. During a trial, he kept asking the head judge to let him race again because he wanted to prove himself as a good racer. Finally, the head judge agreed to let him race again, but only if he followed all the rules and passed a health test. Junkie felt happy and promised to obey all the rules. After the trial, Junkie thanked the head judge and said sorry for his past mistakes. The head judge forgave him and told him to take care of his racing license so he could start racing again soon. Before he left, the head judge mentioned a young racer who had been winning all the races lately. Junkie thought about it quietly. Later, he called his old friend to meet up, and his friend said to meet at his job. Junkie's friend works as a clown at an amusement park. The next day, Junkie went to the park to meet him. When he got there, Junkie saw someone in a dinosaur costume and hugged them, thinking it was his friend. But it turned out to be his friend's wife. They both got confused because they were wearing similar costumes. Junkie's friend, Yuzhong, was a bit annoyed because Junkie hugged his wife by mistake. Even so, they all sat down and talked. Yuzhong used to be Junkie's racing partner, and Junkie wanted him to come back to racing. Hearing that, Yuzhong agreed, but only if Junkie got permission from his wife. Luckily, she said yes to Junkie's offer. The next day, Junkie and Yuzhong went for a driving test to get their licenses back. The instructor asked why Junkie's license was taken away 5 years ago. Junkie said it was because he used to drive drunk. The instructor got mad because he really didn't like drunk drivers and didn't want to pass Junkie. Yuzhong tried to calm things down by saying Junkie was joking and gave a different reason, that Junkie's license was revoked for speeding. But the instructor didn't like that reason either. Then Junkie asked for a chance to prove his driving skills. However, the instructor looked down on him and challenged him to show what he could do. Junkie was ready to show off, but just as he was about to drive, the car's engine broke down. In the end, Junkie failed the test. Meanwhile, there was another racer named Lin Zhendong practicing in the arena. He was young and had a big racing team. Lin Zhendong was really successful and rich for his age. He had been in the top 10 in races for 3 years in a row. He and his assistant were talking about strategies to beat other racers, including Junkie. The next day, Junkie went back to the driving instructor and said sorry for what happened before. He explained that he was a racer too and used to be a driving instructor. At first, the instructor didn't believe him. But then he admitted that he didn't actually dislike Junkie, he just didn't like Yuzhong because of his long hair. Unknowingly, Yuzhong was listening from behind in the instructor's wife's car. The instructor was surprised and pulled Yuzhong out of the car. Yuzhong said he would pay for the damage from before. Junkie also gave some money to the instructor. But the amount he gave was double what was needed, so the instructor got suspicious. Surprisingly, the money was actually to cover any damage that might have happened to the driving instructor's car when Junkie used it for race practice. Long story short, Junkie finally got his driving and racing licenses, which made both of them very happy. While they were at a tavern, Lin Zhendong came to talk to them, especially to Junkie. Lin Zhendong was really interested in Junkie and wanted to invite him to compete in an official tournament. He admired Zhang Qi a lot since he was 18 because of his amazing racing skills. At that time, Lin Zhendong also talked about his own past when he went abroad to study racing. He noticed some weaknesses in Zhang Qi. Hearing this, Zhang Qi felt a bit annoyed, but before leaving, Lin Zhendong gave Zhang Qi a business card and offered to sponsor him for the tournament. However, Zhang Qi refused the help because he felt proud. The next day, Zhang Qi showed his racing team outfit to Yun Cheng, and they went to a car repair shop to rent a racing car for the tournament. At the shop, they met Yi, the manager who used to be on Zhang Qi's team. Unfortunately, Yi didn't want to rent them a car because he was worried about his reputation and sponsorships if Zhang Qi used his car. Zhang Qi and Yun Cheng begged Yi, but he still said no because of Zhang Qi's past mistakes. Feeling disappointed, Zhang Qi and Yun Cheng left the shop with sad faces. But then Yi called them back and took them to a place with old wrecked cars. He showed them a car frame from Zhang Qi's old team and said they could take it since it wasn't part of the company's assets anymore. In the evening, Zhang Qi and Yun Cheng decided to take the car frame using a motorbike, but they were caught by guards at the dump. Zhang Qi tried to plead with them, but it didn't work. Suddenly, their old friend Jising appeared and told the guards to let them go. Happy to see Jising, they hugged each other and took the car frame to Yi's friend's wine cellar. In the warehouse, they talked about the old times when they were a team. Jising used to be Zhang Qi's lead mechanic. After reminiscing, they decided to rebuild a rally car for the tournament. There, Jising asked about their budget, but they didn't have enough money for all the parts they needed. So, they had to find sponsors for their team. Jising calculated the costs for building the car. The next day, Zhang Qi and Yu Zhang started looking for sponsors. They went to see a rich man and explained their plans, but he wasn't interested and kicked them out. After failing to find sponsors, they tried another approach. This time, Zhang Qi took Yu Zhang to meet his colleague at a restaurant, but Zhang Qi's colleague was really drunk and accidentally mentioned that his business had gone bankrupt. Zhang Qi and Yu Zhang left, feeling hopeless. But then Yun Cheng had an idea that they could go on a TV show and pretend to be in need of help to get sponsors faster. The next day, Sang Qi and Yun Cheng went on a TV show where people got 6 seconds to share their dreams. Zhang Qi planned to wear a sign asking for a sponsor. But when he was about to go on stage, he saw Lin Zhendong was one of the judges. This made him feel proud, so he left the stage. At that time, Yu Zhang saw this and stopped Zhang Qi, telling him it was their only chance to get money. Reluctantly, Zhang Qi went back on stage and talked about his sadness as a racer. But when he tried to close the zipper on his sign, it got stuck, and his time ran out. So Zhang Qi failed and went home empty-handed. That night, Zhang Qi felt hopeless, but Yun Cheng reminded him they still had people who could help. They went to see a rich mafia boss at a karaoke place. Yu Zhang asked the mafia boss to sponsor them, and surprisingly, he agreed. But he wanted his lover's name on their sign, so everyone would know her name. Long story short, they finished building the rally car together, and Yu Zhang quickly tested it out. Yu Zhang made sure everything was set before Zhang Qi drove. Soon after, Jising gave the signal to start, and the car took off smoothly. Yu Zhang guided Zhang Qi well, helping him understand the track. Now, they were all set for the tournament. Yu Zhang drove the truck with the rally car, while Zhang Qi and his son flew there. But things went wrong when Yu Zhang's truck had a serious accident, damaging the rally car and injuring Yu Zhang. Zhang Qi was shocked to see the wrecked car when he arrived. Their hopes for the tournament were crushed. Yu Zhang felt guilty and apologized, but Zhang Qi cared more about his friend's safety. Then the race committee asked if they had another car, but Zhang Qi sadly said the wrecked one was their only one. The committee gave him a resignation letter, thinking he couldn't continue the race because of the destroyed car and Yu Zhang's injury. Just before signing it, Lin Zhendong advised Zhang Qi not to give up. Lin Zhendong wanted to help Zhang Qi fix his car because he really wanted to race against him. In the end, Zhang Qi's damaged rally car was repaired by team mechanic Lin Zhendong, with Jising also lending a hand. Even without a co-driver, Zhang Qi was determined to race again and aimed to win. As each rally participant started departing from the starting line every 5 minutes, Lin Zhendong and his co-driver prepared to begin. When the green light signaled the start, Lin Zhendong's car sped off, showcasing his impressive driving skills. Shortly after, Zheng Qi's car also took off, zooming ahead at high speed. Even without a co-driver, Zheng Qi's driving skills shone through. Plus, he knew the track well from previous wins on it. As time passed, many racers had to drop out of the race because the track was very dangerous. Meanwhile, Lin Zhendong drove his car and finished in 59 minutes and 58 seconds. But Zheng Qi kept pushing himself to catch up with Lin Zhendong's time. After a tough battle, Zheng Qi crossed the finish line with a time difference of 548 seconds, officially winning the tournament. However, Zheng Qi's car suffered serious damage, causing him to lose control and drive off a cliff. Sadly, Zheng Qi died in the accident, but he will always be remembered as a legendary Chinese rally racer who never lost a race. The film ends. The moral lesson from this film is, remember, winning a race is great, but always check your brakes or you'll be flying off cliffs faster than a bird on caffeine.